Hi, good evening, everyone. It is 7 o'clock, so we will get this meeting of North College Hill City Council started. It is Sorry.
It is?
It is October 16th, sorry.
It feels like November.
Like I didn't miss
The
something.
weather, yes, the chill in the air. It is October 16th. This is our second council meeting for this month, so we will start as we always do by standing for the prayer and then the Pledge of Allegiance. God our Father, we are all your servants. We trust in your mercy and love. We trust also in your guidance. Direct the meetings of this council of North College Hill to make good decisions for all the people who live in our city. Give all the members of this council wisdom and insight to know what is best for our city. Help us to be fair and just in all our decisions. Bless us all to do the very best we can. With your help and guidance, we pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Call this meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pardon me.
That's all right. You threw me off, though.
Sat down.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out. We'll get our act together here in a minute.
Today.
All right. So Mr. Hedger is not with us this evening, so I will do roll call. Ms. Dukestein,
Present.
Ms. Dewald, Ms. Underwood, Ms. Alexander,
Here.
Ms. Zorb,
Here.
Ms. Blythe,
Here.
Ms. Brunner.
Here.
All right. I did receive notice from both Ms. Dewald and Ms. Underwood that they would not be with us this evening.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb.
I would like to make a motion that we excuse Ms. Dewald and Ms. Underwood from tonight's meeting.
Mr. President,
Ms. Alexander.
I'll second that.
All right, motion by Ms. Zorb, second by Ms. Alexander, to excuse Ms. Dewald and Ms. Underwood from tonight's meeting. Any discussion? I will call the roll. Ms. Dukestein,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Blythe,
Yes.
Ms. Brunner.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0. Okay, we have tonight's agenda. So I was told here before the meeting that we may not need this second reading for ordinance 14, 2023. Mr. Dieters, you want to explain?
Yeah, Mr. President, if you all want to go ahead, you could just make it a second reading, obviously, because the only thing you voted on was to not suspend 3 readings. Although Jennifer's not here, I did have a conversation with her, maybe, and I don't know if she was intent on keeping any more, 'cause she might have found somebody, not through an agency, but somebody who could part-time potentially fill in. So you either could table it, you could just do a second reading on it, and then if you don't need it the next time when she's back, you could table it. Either way, it's really up to your prerogative.
So
Great.
I would think that we would want to just go ahead and continue with the reading tonight and then make sure that at our next meeting. But I wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that before we voted on the agenda.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb,
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the agenda as presented.
okay?
Mr. President,
Ms. Alexander?
I'll second that.
Motion by Ms. Zorb, second by Ms. Alexander to accept tonight's agenda as presented. Any discussion? I will call the roll. Ms. Dukestein,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Blythe,
Yes.
Ms. Brunner.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. We have the minutes from our last meeting that was conducted on 10/2. Need a motion to accept?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes from 10/2/2023.
We have a motion on the floor of Ms. Dukestein to accept these minutes from 10/2/23.
Mr. President,
Ms. Alexander.
I'll second it.
Motion from Ms. Dukestein, second from Ms. Alexander to accept the minutes from 10/2/23. Any discussion? I will call the roll. Ms. Dukestein,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Zorb,
Abstain.
Ms. Blythe,
Yes.
Ms. Brunner.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0 with an abstention. All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is communication. I am not aware of any communication, so if anyone is, please speak now.
Mr. President,
Ms. Orb?
may I just point out to our residents that there is the, what do we call it? I forget it. For the council member, for the,
Meet the
Meet the
candidate.
candidates.
thank you.
Oh.
My goodness,
I was
I just went
trying to
blank.
think of what you-
Sorry, sounds
Not to say the
like.
Fall Festival.
Yes. So I would just like to invite everyone out to the Meet the Candidates Night. It's this Wednesday. There is a, like a meet and greet starting at 6. I think it's 6.
Yes.
Someone help me?
6 to 9.
But the meet and greet part is from 6 to 6:30, I think, and then there is a presentation about the gas and electric aggregation, and then there is question and answer for all of the candidates that are on the ballot. So if you have any questions about your candidates that will be on the ballot or about the city, please attend.
And that is at the senior center.
It is
correct?
at the Senior Center, yes, on Goodman Avenue.
So it starts at 6:30. It's this Wednesday night at the senior center, Meet the Candidates Night, and discussion time around the aggregation legislation. We have 2 of those on our ballot. Thank you, Ms. Orb.
You're welcome.
All right, we have council committees, City Community Development and Recreation.
Good evening, North College Hill. City Community Development and Recreation had a meeting October 10th, 2023 at 6:30, and we discussed the cleanup day, which was on September 16th, about how low the turnout was, and we were talking about how to get the communities and some institutions or churches more involved, and finding submitting fines to business with litter. That's, second on the agenda was Ms. Clear's report. She made a report, come out to the Family Festival, October 21st, from 1 to 5 p.m. on Goodman Avenue. And the 513 relief bus will be there October 31st, 2023, from 10 to 3 p.m. at the Senior Center. We discussed household waste event. It's still scheduled for November 18th. We're just working out details and the kinks and a lot of things. I went to a meeting in St. Bernard October 13th to try to see what the process was, so our event can go smoothly. And we have brought back a welcome packet, a form to educate all community residents about compliances and liabilities of our neighborhood. And the meeting was adjourned at 7:25 p.m., and the next meeting is November 13th, 6:30 p.m., 2023.
Thank you, Ms. Brunner. Next up is Budget and Finance.
Budget and Finance met Tuesday, October 10th at 7:30. The first topic we had was the credit card policy and legislation, which the policy and legislation have both been updated legislation on the agenda tonight as we agreed to move it to council floor. Ms. Ike gave us a timeline on the budget. Then we agreed to schedule a budget workshop, which is going to be an additional budget and finance meeting held 10/23, and it is going to be, you have to forgive my verbiage because I always get this mixed up, but it's the meeting at large or
Committee of the whole.
committee of the whole on 10/23. Even though I know we haven't gotten out all the right postings, we're working on that. Ms. Clear is, and then Ms. Iki did confirm with me this week before she left for vacation that we would have it that day, and that the department heads would make it that day. We spent a great deal of time on that and talking about the revenue budget and what we would like to see for the 2024 upcoming budget. We had planned to talk about the police levy, but we were still yet to get all of the official documents, and we're following up with that. We tabled the conversation for a salary ordinance. We had some new business. I don't have the minutes. I took, Miss, can you fill in? Do you remember the new business that you brought up? You brought it up.
No, it's
Okay.
gone. Sorry.
Sorry, so we're missing that, and I'll catch you up next time. So officially, our next meeting is October the 23rd at 6:30 to 7:30, or actually 6:30 to 8:30. It's going to be a 2-hour meeting. We did not have, I know for sure we did not have any old business.
So we are doing, I'm sorry, does anybody have any questions? So we're having a,
Yes, I
go
do.
ahead, Ms. Blythe.
Will you still have the budget meeting on November 13th also?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And hopefully this will curve some of those latter holiday meetings that we normally have, if we can get some things accomplished sooner. Ms. Iki's working really hard to do that for us.
Okay, so the committee of the whole meeting will be in lieu of our normal rules, of public policy, and public safety. All right,
Yes.
very good, thank you.
Oh, that's it, everything. That's everything.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we do have rules and public policy, public safety. I know they did not meet since our last meeting. Is anyone on that committee that has anything that needs to be brought up?
No, like, I'm sorry, Mr. President.
Ms. Orr?
Yeah, like you said, we have not met since our last report.
Okay, so it sounds like we are preempting the next one with committee of the whole. Was there any talk of when the next one would be, or are we just skipping?
We're
Okay,
just skipping.
so they won't go again until the November meeting, which would be the 27th.
Just probably, well, sorry.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am. Go
I
ahead, Ms.
have
Dixie.
a question. And I'm asking this from Ms. Brunner. Because we're having that kind of special terms meeting for the budget and finance, that does mean everybody, including you, right?
Committee of the whole, yes.
Yes.
That is everybody.
Okay, so I just wanted, because you're not on the budget and finance, so that would mean you'd have to attend that one. I
Yes.
just
Nope.
FYI,
Thank you.
because
Yes.
she's a newbie.
Right.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
So I'm welcome?
You are welcome, please.
You're required, not
Required,
welcome,
yeah.
required.
Well, from me, you're welcome, you're required.
It's like that voluntold.
There you go. All right, thank you. All right, any ad hoc reports this evening?
Mr. President,
Yes, please, Ms. Dukestein.
I should have a report from the school board, but last Monday, when we were supposed to meet, it was Columbus Day for the government, and I assumed that it was Columbus Day for the school district, and it was not. And they did meet, and I did not attend, and I showed up on Tuesday and realized that I should have been there on Monday. So I will catch us back up next month, and I apologize for that misthought.
Thank you. Any other ad hoc reports? All right, well, then we will move to administrative reports. This evening, Mayor Nichols is not with us. Ms. Iki, our city administrator, is not with us, so we will turn it over to our law director, Mr. Dieters.
Mr. President, I have no report unless there's any questions of me this evening.
Well, hearing none, we'll move on to finance director's report. She is not with us either, so we will go to call of members, and we will start with Ms. Dukestein.
I'm excited about Fall Festival coming up this weekend, and that is it.
Thank you. Ms. Alexander.
I am also excited about Fall Festival. I caught the sale at Kroger's this weekend, so I had to keep my candy in the car so the family doesn't, dive into it. So I'm excited about that, and I'm also excited about the Meet the Candidates event.
Yes, I understand the keeping the candy guarded, because somehow there was an open bag of candy in my wife's office today, and 4 Kit Kats later, I finally realized what I was doing.
Somehow.
Yes, it happens. Thank you. All right, Mrs. Horp.
I do not have anything to report tonight.
Thank you. Ms.
Thank
Blythe?
you.
Yes, would like everyone to know that early voting began on Wednesday, October 10th, at the Hamilton County Board of Elections, and it is, I can't remember, I think it's 4700 Smith Road in Norwood, Ohio. And I also will be attending the North College Hill Fall Family Festival. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Brunner?
Come on out to the Family Fall Festival, October 21st from 1 to 5. And do not forget the 513 relief bus that will be here October 31st at the Senior Center on Goodman
What time is that again?
from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Brunner. All right, that will bring us to remarks from the audience. Mr. Wilson, I do know you're signed in. Please take the lectern, adjust the microphone, and start with your name and address, and try and keep your comments to 5 minutes, sir.
Yes, as always, I always like to address the council. Thank you for what you do. Really do appreciate it. Victor Wilson, 69 Clindale Avenue. Just wanted to get a council an update on the Uptown Bengals. They did make it to the Super Bowl, so organization. So first year, very excited about them. They did. Like I said, they made it to the Super Bowl. It was just a successful year for me. Like I said, the complaints were early, but they turned around. Once they got them, they addressed them. It's changed. And like I said, I would like to make sure that the council vote or whatever it is that you got to do as far as keeping them in the community. This is what we need for our community. So I would like to see them return next year, and I will still continue to do what I do for the North College Hill community, Uptown Bengals, and my council. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Wilson.
Ms.
Wilson, we do
Wilson.
appreciate it. And they have been practicing over here at the park and using the parking lot here to. Go ahead. Get a little more background on that. You got a couple minutes.
So they have been practicing and also playing. So everyone's aware they got kicked out of the North College Hill School Stadium. So they have to use their practice field as the game field. So I have took an initiative to make it easier on the residents there. North College Hill Police gave us permission to shut the street down for just residents only, so it allows just the residents to come in and out during game day without no disruptions. I don't mind sitting there all day letting my residents in and out to keep that team there. Because like I said, this is what we need in our community. This is what, to me, I think this is what North College Hill is about. So this is a prime example of why you guys are the council members.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Wilson.
Mr.
I
Wilson.
saw you this weekend sitting out guarding the street. I see you sitting out there like, yeah.
We gotta do what we gotta do.
Did you sign in? Please, you know the drill. Just adjust the microphone, please.
I'm Peg Albert from the Ladies American Legion Post that meets in the back of the building. Just 2 things I had questions about. I was coming south on Hamilton Avenue toward Galbraith late last week, and I'm sure part of this you have no control over, but I think sometimes the signage as far as letting people know what lanes they need to be in, and can you make a left-hand turn from Hamilton to go east on Galbraith or not? I find it very confusing, but, maybe that's just me. But I have a hunch a lot of other people are frustrated too. And then the other thing, I don't know when it's going to come up here about what North College Hill is going to do as far as helping to slow traffic. But I have a couple things I might, everybody to sort of remember. I was coming from the VA a few weeks ago and coming up Hamilton Avenue at Pullen. There was a school bus trying to make a right-hand turn from Hamilton Avenue onto Pullen. And because of the way their system is set up, for that bus to make that right-hand turn was very, very difficult. I didn't think this bus was going to be able to do it. They finally did. I mean, they obviously had to go into the other lane of traffic to be able to make that turn. And I thought, if the school bus is having trouble, what about emergency vehicles? And I think that's something that needs to be considered before anything, would ever be done, so that, everybody is safe. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to legislation. Have a first reading for resolution number 24-2023, a resolution to approve a credit card policy for city employees. We also have a second reading for ordinance number 14-2023, an ordinance to provide a one-time notwithstanding exception to ordinance number 5-2023, establishing the salaries and staffing levels for the city of North College Hill and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President,
Ms. Dukestein?
so can Mr. Dieters please repeat what he said in the beginning about that legislation?
Well, I was referencing, Mr. Extreme, the actual agenda, whether or not you wanted to table it or keep it on the agenda. You voted last time just to there was a motion to suspend the requirement for readings. That failed, but you didn't actually vote on the motion, so, and I think Mr. Graver decided to go ahead and have a second reading on that.
Mr. President,
Ms. Dukestein?
I'm not sure what we can do, but I think I feel like I need to say this to the rest of the council. I think they're having a lot of issues on what can be done, which we probably do need to, if we can. Can we suspend the third reading at this point? No?
We don't have enough here tonight to suspend.
Okay. I was not sure by these two not being here, and I wanted to make sure because I've heard that they're having a very difficult time getting some administrative things done, and so to kind of undo that.
Yeah, we cannot do anything tonight.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, thank you, Ms. Dukestein. All right, next is further remarks from the audience regarding legislation. We'll move to old business.
Mr. President,
Ms. Dukestein?
so in committee, Erica's not here tonight. We had talked about the traffic on Hamilton Avenue, and I don't know if anyone else saw this, but the traffic is just zooming right through our area for the the one lane on Hamilton Avenue. And there was a very, very bad 4-car accident yesterday. I was able to take pictures. When we talk about it in our committee, I'll send the pictures out. It actually wasn't in North College Hill. It was right at the precipice of College Hill. And I'm sure that there was traffic. There's no way cars can collide and hit that bad at 25 miles per hour. So I'm sure speed was a factor. Again, there were 4 cars involved. And I know some of it is the speed that we have here in North College Hill, but it's also something happening in that area where people are feeling compelled to go around others to get past those that are trying to do the speed limit. So I just ask that we really kind of take a really good, hard look at that. I know we have been, but with urgency, because something needs to be done about that
Mr. President.
stretch.
Mr. President.
Ms. Brunner first.
Ms. Dukestein, what area is that?
right there on Hamilton Avenue as you're passing out of North College Hill on the precipice of College Hill. I think that actually the sign was right there on both sides. On this side is Welcome to
So
North College Hill, on that side is Welcome.
Someone hit a sign?
No, they did not hit a
Oh,
sign. Cars
I'm sorry.
collided.
Oh, it was a
And,
car accident. Okay.
I would say at least 3 of the cars were totaled. And they were in people's yards. It was it's one of the worst accidents I've seen not happen at an intersection or on the highway. Just literally on the road, and there were 4 cars involved.
Ms. Blythe?
Yes, I just on my own, I sent a letter to Ms. Iki, and I copied our Madam Chair of Safety, that it would be a good idea if it's in the budget for us to use the same similar tactics that they have in College Hill, the 3 to 4 poles that turn four lanes into 2 lanes. What they have in College Hill. We have the 3 or 4 poles near the crosswalks, not on the crosswalks, but adjacent to the crosswalks, where it narrows it down to 2 lanes only versus 4. But I was told it definitely has to be in our budget, but I feel like it should be all about lives and safety. I mean, we should be able to purchase them, but still we should think about, the accident that you just saw. And it is an urgent matter because we've been talking about it for so long.
I did, when I was turning, because I was right there on Hollywood. I'm sorry, Mr. President.
Mr. Steele.
I'm sorry. I'm so rude tonight. The firefighter, he was just beginning to direct traffic, and because I wasn't trying to take pictures at people's disadvantage, but I was just trying because I knew I wanted to talk about it here. What I will say is, and I'm not, at this point, after seeing that accident, I just really feel like we need to do something. But the firefighter did say that the accidents in that stretch have increased since putting that there. And it is just, I don't know that that's not a fix. I don't know that it's a fix, but I know that their accidents have increased because people are feeling like they need to go around others that are trying to abide the speed limit, and it's 1 lane. So I don't know what the right answer is. I just would like to give that information. I did ask for his name and number. He did give it to me. So I'm willing to follow up with some phone calls and just ask if we could put our thinking caps on. It was such a bad accident. I'm very humbled by it. I don't know what we need to do, but we just need to do something.
Mr. President,
Ms. Brunner?
well, Ms. Dukes, I'm sure they have engineers and statistics and for things like that. I wonder what the statistics are for those particular barriers. Is it helping or is it hindering? Because we can't keep kicking the can down the road now. Something just got to be done at this point. So I'm sure engineering have to be involved and a lot of things like that. But you're right, we need to do something. We need to do something soon.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb?
I hesitated to chime in. College Hill had a meeting a couple of weeks ago that I attended to talk about all of their traffic calming and bicycle lane. And there were a lot of extremely angry people there. I will tell you that I was not going to speak up because I was in support of those items, and I was heavily outvoted in that area. But as far as that's concerned, to Miss Lurie's Bly's point, College Hill did that all through a grant. It was 100% funded through grant, and I did give that grant information to Miss Iki, so I think she's looking into that. And as for the emergency vehicles that Miss Albert was talking about, there were police and fire both at that meeting, and neither one of them said that that had any type of effect on what they do. And they had not seen any type of adverse problems with what had been That's the word I want, implemented. There was one other point I wanted to make, and now I lost it. I forget what it was. But I do feel like perhaps part of the, because it sounds almost like where you saw the accident, it is where the difference between North College Hills, Indy 500, and College Hills, crab crawl. So it might have been someone trying to make up that difference there. And that's why I think what we need to do has more, there's a higher priority to it, that we do need to act, and we need to act rapidly. We have been kicking this can down the road for far too long, and it's time. And, that's the other point I wanted to make. So at that meeting, they did also say that it is what they call a trial. So it is, at this point, it's on a 2-year plan, and then they'll look at statistics and see what happens, because they've had fatalities in their area, and that was part of why they really pulled the trigger. It was also an 18-month process that they worked with the city of Cincinnati, with the traffic engineers that you were referring to. And there was an entire board of people that worked on the plan. I'm trying to remember what else I learned that I forgot already. I think that's about it.
And then, is that where you got the statistics that you did email out?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me that I did that.
I actually read your email and looked at the statistics. All right, any other old business?
Mr. President,
Ms. Dukestein?
I just want to acknowledge my neighbor. She's here tonight, and I wanted to say the repeat of our candidate forum, because she and I had talked outside of this meeting about it. It's Wednesday from 6 to 9 at the Senior Center on Goodman Avenue. So
right next to Frickers.
is it going to be televised or on TV Land?
See anything?
I don't know that answer.
I didn't see anything.
The chamber is putting it on, not the city. So
Okay, well, I'll follow up on that, but I just wanted to say that out loud again because she was here and we had talked about me following up.
And also the school board will be there as well.
All right, any other old business? We will move to new business. Anyone have any new business this evening?
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb?
I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn at 7:32.
Mr. President,
Ms. Dukestein?
in record time, I'd like to second that.
All right, motion by Ms. Zorb, second by Ms. Dukestein to adjourn tonight's meeting. Any discussion? I will call the roll. Ms. Dukestein?
Yes.
Ms. Alexander?
Yes.
Ms. Zorb?
Yes.
Ms. Blythe?
Yes.
Ms. Brunner?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.